When we think about criminal law in Singapore, we come up with hard questions like, is death penalty something that should be upheld in Singapore? And when we talk about these things, a name comes to mind. Eugene Thuraisingham is a highly distinguished lawyer in the criminal law practice, and today we are so delighted to have him in our conversation.
I'm glad you clarified that I'm a criminal lawyer and not a criminal. It is, as always, great to be here, Rachel.
And today we also have
Suang Wijaya.
Suang Wijaya is the managing partner of Eugene Thuraisingham LLP, an up-and-coming criminal lawyer, and I must be very clear, not a criminal.
Very grateful for the very kind words.
awesome. So we're so happy to be in a room with two criminal lawyers today. And we're going to ask them a couple of questions about why they decided to choose criminal law as a specialty. So Eugene, did you wake up as a baby and say, "Hey mommy, I want to become a criminal lawyer"?
How did you know?
I knew it.
No, well, actually, when I was young, I took a great interest in criminal cases. I used to follow what was being reported in the newspapers.
So you watch a lot of Crime Watch.
Well, not Crime Watch, other kinds of shows which you would be too young to know, Matlock, and there were other law programs at that time. But in particular, I used to follow in the newspapers what was happening in the Singapore courts.
And what was the draw in criminal law that sort of like kept you interested? Was it defending the criminals, or was it really sort of like trying to give someone a voice in the court?
I think it's really about understanding people. You see people doing various things. Sometimes the reasons for it are apparent and you can see why they've done something. Sometimes you cannot understand. But it's a lot to do with human nature, how human beings behave. And sometimes you empathize for people. And it's an area of law where you actually deal with average, normal people. And sometimes you actually get to make a great difference in their lives. So that's why it's a very fulfilling area to practice in.
So did you first start off as a criminal lawyer from day one, or was this an evolution?
Well, I started in a large Singapore law firm, which in the litigation department. And so my initial years were more doing commercial litigation matters, which I do enjoy as well, not as much as criminal work. But it provides you a good foundation to build on. There are skills which are cross-referable.
What were some of the hardest things that you had to go through when setting up your own practice? And what would you say are the 3 principles that the firm stands for?
The work is difficult. We took on difficult cases, emotionally draining, some of the criminal cases. Some of the commercial cases were difficult. And a lot of the time we found ourselves up against the big firms. Their clients have unlimited resources or very, very large resources. Our clients didn't have similar resources. We were often for the individual. And so you have to be clever about how you deploy the limited resources you have to try to get the best possible outcome for your client.
And what made you want to represent the guys with less money?
I suppose those are the guys who came to me. I didn't have a choice. And I was quite happy to do so. I mean, I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy working with people. I find it more fulfilling doing legal work for individuals as opposed to a faceless company. Although, I mean, I must say some disputes involving companies are intellectually very stimulating, very interesting and good work. But somehow I prefer working with an individual because of the relationship, because of the trust and confidence, because he comes to you with a real problem that's going to affect his life.
So, Suang, what inspired you to join Eugene? I mean, he started his firm for 3 years when you decided to join him.
When I was in university, I was interested in this area of law called constitutional law. So I was researching on firms to join when I was around 2nd or 3rd year. I saw that Eugene had just started his firm at that time, and he was doing constitutional law matters, criminal law matters, and of course, commercial law matters. My thinking at that time was, if I were to join an up-and-coming firm like Eugene's, I'll really have much more opportunity and space to contribute to the organization as opposed to if I were to join a big firm.
Wow. So how did your parents react?
Well, they didn't have much of a choice. I just told them after the fact they had already signed the contract. But they had reservations in the beginning. Over the years, they came around to it, and now they couldn't be.
They're so happy for you right now.
I hope so. Yeah.
And what drew you to criminal law, or more specifically constitutional law?
I suppose again, it's the notion of acting for individuals, using this skill set that has been taught to me, which I'm in a privileged position to have received, to make a difference to somebody's life, really.
I think that's also how I feel when I act for founders, because that's the person you're helping and they really need your help. So when you do something for them, it makes a huge difference. Corporations are great as well, but the impact is just slightly different. Let's talk about your process as a junior lawyer many years back. Did you have nerves going to court?
When I started, certainly, I mean, every time I stood up in court, I mean, you get very, very nervous.
Sweaty palms.
I'll share a secret with you. Don't tell anyone. But I still get nervous when I stand up in court.
Yeah? You don't look like it.
I mean, you don't know what questions the judges are going to ask you. Rachel, your questions are easy. I can answer them.
Okay. Time for more difficult questions.
Court is a different ball game. And so you are worried that they may ask you something which you have overlooked. And then, you would not look good and you would not have done a good job. Of course, you get more confident as you get on with practice, and as you get more senior, you'll be gravitating more towards the type of work that you're good at.
You said my questions are too easy. So let me ask you a difficult question. Why did you write and publish the poem on Facebook?
I think Swang was tempted to tell me not to answer that question, but I think a question like that needs to be answered. The point I was trying to make is that the people who suffer the most because of the death penalty are the poor. I've done many cases. My clients are generally poor. They may be foreigners. They just happen to be from minority groups. I mean, that's, I suppose, a socio-economic situation. And I want to make it clear, it's not the law targets this group. It just so happens that
the people who are trafficking it.
Yes, I mean, the way society works, these are the people who tend to get involved. Anecdotally, I've seen that. And in choosing my words, I made a mistake.
Oh, you make mistakes?
Yes, I have always said we're all human, we make mistakes. I made a mistake in choice of words, which got me into trouble. I owned up to it. And I think, it's important for young lawyers to understand this as well. When a mistake happens, you take ownership of your mistake. You don't run away from it. You take ownership of it. You deal with the consequences. And then, most importantly, you pick yourself up and you move on in life. And you know that you will make another mistake again. And be prepared for it and, face it with courage, with conviction. Understand why you made that mistake. And it's not because you're a bad person. You had certain genuine motives, genuine thoughts you wanted to put across. You made a mistake, but a mistake is a mistake.
Yes.
Take ownership, but don't be devastated. Move on.
From the sounds of it, you describe how running your practice, being involved in criminal work was simply about watching TV shows that got you interested. But I can really feel the passion that comes behind acting for people who have been charged with crime, or maybe people who have been sort of like marginalized by society in some sense. Because if you just cared about the dollars and cents that came in, you wouldn't be writing the poem. You'd be posting something else about you in your Ferrari or something else, right?
No, I had to pay a lot of fines for that, so no Ferrari.
No Ferrari, got it. What are some tips you can share to aspiring lawyers for them to stay in practice?
Well, first, you must want to do it. You must want to be a lawyer. You must want to practice the type of law that you are practicing. You should really think about what you want to do, because law is difficult. Clients are demanding. You have court deadlines that you must comply with, and you can't afford to make mistakes, because mistakes cost people money. They may even cost someone their freedom, their life. So it's a very, very heavy responsibility which you undertake. So you must be able to work hard at it, and you can only do that if you enjoy it. And you must also know where you're going, because you can't work at that pace for the rest of your life. So you need to be able to take your practice to the next step, where you start to play more of a big picture role. You strategize the matter for the client, and you have a team of lawyers working for you. If you cannot take your practice and progress to the next level, you will burn out, because you cannot possibly be working at that pace and intensity for years and years and years.
No one can be Superman. So we hope these stories give you a piece of golden advice for aspiring criminal lawyers and students. And we hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for being here, Song and Eugene.
I enjoyed myself here as well. Thank you as always for having us on.
Thank you.